Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is Kaisar Hayat, Lecturer, Department of English, Kohat University of Science and Technology. Dear student, Assalamu alaikum. We are studying English Code 382 and today is the 14th lecture of our course Research Method in Linguistics. The topic for today's class is Descriptive Research. Let's go to discussion agenda. Student, in today's class we shall try to cover the nature, the definition of descriptive research. We shall try to know in deep that what is the nature of descriptive research and what nature descriptive research carries and why it's necessary. What are the necessary area where we can practice this descriptive research and what's the aim of descriptive research. After the aim, the design of descriptive research would also be discussed in today's lecture. And after the design, there are some kinds of descriptive research. We shall try to discuss them one by one. And if some ethics, why we have to observe some ethics while doing descriptive research, why it's necessary to follow these ethics in our studies that we are carrying out through descriptive research. Basically, these ethics or the observation of ethics is quite necessary because that would definitely affect the reliability of our research. After ethics, there are importance of descriptive research, why research is important, and what are the importance of especially descriptive research. Some advantages and disadvantages would also be discussed in today's lecture. Now, first of all, let's go to the area. What is descriptive research? Student, descriptive research is actually, this is the most widely used research as indicated by thesis, that is also indicated by dissertation, and that's also indicated by research report of institution. So this design, which is called descriptive research, that is one of the widely used research. Another point of the definition says that its common mean of obtaining informations that include the use of questionnaire, personal interviews with the aid of study guide or interview schedules, and observations, either participatory or not. Student, in descriptive type of research, the means of collecting information is questionnaire. Questionnaire is actually, this is a paper full of questions, different nature of questions that are collected together for the sake of collecting information from the participant. Questionnaire can consist of open-ended question in which the participant can write himself or herself. It can be close-ended questions like MCQs could be there, etc. But questionnaire is one of the important source of collecting data. Yes, personal interviews. This is also a very important source of collecting data from the participant. In personal interviews, different people, different participants, different samples of the populations are interviewed with the aid of study guide, interview schedules, and observation, etc. This is not necessary that the participant should be participatory. If they are not, even can we take the information from them. Now, descriptive research includes studies that purport to present fact concerning the nature and status of anything. The more about descriptive research is that descriptive research gives meaning to the quality and standing fact that are going on. What are the standing fact that we are working on, that we are describing on in our research? Actually, this type of research give meaning to the quality that we are doing, on which we are doing research, and which is under studies, and the exacting status of the quality that is elaborated through this research. For instance, the information about a group of person, a number of objects, set of condition, a class of events, a system of thoughts, or any other kind of phenomena or experience which may wish to study. Through this type of research, student, we can get information about a group on which we are studying, on which we are doing research, at which we are studying. Number of objects can be there. If there are some set of condition we would take as topic, as a problem for our research. A class events, even that can be also studied, a system of thoughts, etc. These kind of all phenomena or experiences which one may wish to study. So student, this is the definition that I try my best to elaborate in front of you, that what is descriptive research. Descriptive research is actually to know, to understand, or to go deep into a matter which is there, present, and we are, through describing, we are doing to study it. Our study is research. We try to investigate deep into the matter. We want to go deep into the matter, and we want to uncover some fact, some realities, some knowledges through research. That is called descriptive research. After definitions of descriptive research, let's see what's the nature of descriptive research. Descriptive research is designed for the investigator to gather information about present existing condition. Student, what is present existing condition? Like, there are many conditions. For example, if there is a situation that the situation is worsened and the status of an event, or the status of a thing, or the status of a group of people is worth studying, and you decided to do a research on it, so you would see that whether is this situation able to invite descriptive research to be done or not. That your decision should be there, but make it sure that if the problem is existing problem, if the problem is in front of you, that in existing state, then you are free to choose the method, the design of descriptive research to adopt. So in short, I can say that existing condition about anything, or the present existing condition of any phenomena, can be well read through the study of descriptive methods, or through the method or to the design of descriptive research. Descriptive research go deep into the present existing conditions. You would start it from the present conditions, and you can go deep into uncover. You can go deep to uncover the fact. Student, descriptive research involves collection of data in order to test the hypothesis or to answer questions concerning the current state of the subject of the studies. Student, we have already studied hypothesis. Hypothesis is a fixture of a statement that we later on testify through our research. Research question are the questions that are answered through our research studies. So in descriptive research, actually involves that the collection of data that you would collect for your research, that will be in order to test the hypothesis that you have already fixed or you have taken, or the question that you can make and the answer to this question, and concerning the current status of the subject of the studies. So important thing is here with respect to this descriptive words, that the current status. Here we have also seen that present existing condition. So in this point also that current status of the studies. Study means research here. So as a conclusion of this point, let me clarify that descriptive research involves collection of data. How would you collect data? You have already seen in the previous slides that you can collect data through questionnaire, through observation, through interviews. Why would you collect data for descriptive research? Because you want to get the hypothesis testified. You want to answer the questions that are fixed as research questions. So descriptive research look into current status of a subject or of any phenomena. Now, descriptive study determine and report the way things are. It has no control over what is, and it can only measure what already exists. Student, descriptive studies are descriptive type of research equally determines and report the way things are as the things are in present status. It has no control over it or what is, and it can only measure what already exists. What already exists, that would be measured in it. Clear? So the descriptive research is describing the matter, describing the event, describing the phenomena that is under research. Another point is that descriptive research has been criticized for its inability to control variables for which study, and for more frequently wielding only descriptive rather than predicative. Student, predicative research area is different. Descriptive research area is actually to describe, to be in descriptive mode. So this type of research is actually criticized, or the one of the drawback about this research is that it has no control over the variables. So let's see in the next slide that what is the aim of descriptive research. Student, as is the previous slides we have discussed, that descriptive research is seeing the thing as it is in the present status, and it starts its work from what is the present status of something, of some phenomena that is under study. So, but what should be the aim of this type of research? Aim means, under the umbrella term, your purpose, your main thoughts under which you are taking your research forward. So what should be the aim of your research? The aim should be, the principal aim in employing descriptive research are to describe the nature of a situation as it exists at the time of the study, and to explore the causes of particular phenomena. Student, in descriptive type of research, the main aim, the principal aim in employing descriptive type or descriptive studies is to describe, to say as it is. Describe means to describe or to say as it is. What it has to describe? It has to describe the nature of a situation as it exists at the time of the study, and to explore the cause of particular phenomena. Now, descriptive research seeks to tell what exists while, if I am doing a research and the nature of my research is descriptive, I must see that what exists or what is. These two questions are very important in descriptive research: what exists or what is about a certain educational phenomena or any type of phenomena. Accurate observation and assessment arise from data that ascertain the nature and incident of prevailing condition. Practices or description of object, process, and person who are all object of the study. Student, in aim of this type of research, actually this type of research sees the thing what exists, what is, and correct observation and assessment arise from data that ascertain the nature and incident of prevailing condition. Practice or description of object, process, and person who are all object to the study. After the aim, if descriptive research is to see and to check and to investigate the thing as it is, that it look into the matter what exists and what is, then what should be the design of descriptive research? What step we have to follow to complete the phenomena, which is research process. So the design of the research is that descriptive research makes some type of comparison, contrast comparison and contrast, and correlation, and sometime in carefully planned and orchestrated descriptive research, like cases effect relationship may be established to some extent. Student, actually the design of descriptive research should be that it should make some type of comparison and contrast when you compare two facts, that what is the difference between two things, what are the similarity between two things. When we compare and contrast, yes, this descriptive research makes some type of comparison and contrast. Another thing it make is correlation, when we correlate two facts, and sometime in carefully planned and orchestrated, mean engineered descriptive research, cause effect relation can be obtained or done, and cause effect relationship may be established for some extent, for some ways. After design, let's see the methods. The method approach is, there are 6 steps in conducting descriptive research. These steps are as like each and every research. The first step out of these 6 steps is that you have to identify your problem. After the identification of problem, let's review our literature about the problem, select participant and instrument, collect valid and reliable data, and then we have to analyze data, and at the end, report and conclusion. Let me discuss all these points one by one for you. Just like every research, first of all, you have to identify your problem. Student, when you understand your problem, when you pinpoint your problem, even then you can go deep into the research. What are the problems that you are addressing, that you are studying over here? The problem should be worth research, that should be really able to be researched. Identifying problem is one of the most important part of the research. It would fix your direction, that where you would go. It would fix your field where you would carry out your studies. It would fix your circle where you have to work as a researcher. So identify a problem and fix a problem to be solved through research is one of the important point of research. So in descriptive research too, first of all, you have to identify the problem. After you identify the problem, the second point is review literature. Students, we would have a separate lecture on literature review, but let me clarify your mind about literature review. What is literature review? Literature review is actually studying about a fact on which you are doing research. For example, if you are doing research to understand the existing study condition of a group of students, so you have to review literature about the parallel groups of students, that in this age group, what type of trends are fixed by the students, what are the condition of the relevant classes of the student, etc. So relevant books are called relevant literature, relevant magazine articles, relevant other sources of relevant data, that are all studied in review literature. After review literature, select participant and instrument. Student, if you are doing research on a matter you can't collect data from all of the population. For example, if you are doing research on your city, in your city level, for example, if you are trying to know the English language teaching system in the government school of a cities, so it's quite impossible that you could reach to each and every students on the required level. So you would fix your population. You would delimit your area. You would take a sample area. Yes, sample can be of anything. There can be random sample, etc. But you can't take data from all. You would plan your population and you would take data from it. So in this point, you have to select your participant and you have to select your instrument. Instrument is through which you could take data. After it, when you have selected your instrument, the instrument example I can give you that you can select questionnaire as an instrument, interview as an instrument, observation as an instrument. You can select anything that you can take. You can utilize this instrument and you can collect the data. Next, collect valid and reliable data. Yes, valid and reliable data is very important. You should not take fake data. Your data should be valid and reliable. Valid means that should be actually taken, that should be truthful, and reliable means that the sources through which you have acquired your data, that should be reliable in nature. After it, you have to analyze this data. How would you analyze your data? Analyzing data is quite necessary stage of the research. Analyzing data has different methodologies, different approaches. Even some software available in the market, SPSS for example, and so on. These software also help you to analyze your data. Somewhere you analyze it, you decorate it in graph, somewhere you decorate it in charts, somewhere, and so on. So you can analyze your data according to your own taste, according to your own need. But analyzing data is one of the main area because you can even only forward your result, forward your final report if your data is analyzed effectively and correctly. Now, you have carried out these stages, you have identified your problem, you have done your literature review, you have selected participant for your research, you have selected instrument, for example, questionnaire, etc. You have collected and reliable data is also collected, and even you have analyzed it. Now, most of the research is done. Now, only the conclusion extract to conclude that's left. So you have to prepare. After this analyzing data, definitely result would come out. You would see what is the majority, what is the response of the majority. Definitely you would mention that so and so data is analyzed and the result is this. So in the light of this result, final report, final conclusion, you would put for the process. So final conclusion report is the actual report that is the output of your research. That's the document that would be very important with respect to your research because this is the outcome of your research. Student, I hope that you have understood the method of descriptive research. Now, common errors. Student, a researcher, for example, if you are a learner, definitely at initial stages, there would be some errors, there would be some mistakes committed. But let's discuss some already committed errors that most of the researchers commit so that it would help you to maintain your path to avoid error, because one of the best way to avoid error is to study error, to take experience of the already committed error so that they could be avoided. Now, lack of participant response. Student, each and every research required appropriate response of the participant. But first of all, let me clarify that what is the participant response. Student, when you are doing research, you actually approach your population. Population means the people who are participant in the research. They are called population actually in research language. So whenever you approach, when you reach to the participant, definitely you give them an instrument, because your main purpose is to collect data from them. So you actually give them instrument, or you request them for interview, or you actually observe them, and so on. But let's take an example that your instrument is questionnaire. So first of all, you would give them a questionnaire that please fill this. Some questions are optional, some questions are necessary. So your participant who has received this questionnaire from you, they would definitely fill it. But most of the time it occurs that the response is not that much encouraging. People don't bother, like the participants are not interested. Some would say that they are busy, and some would definitely half-heartedly they would fill your questionnaire, and so on. So lack of participant response is quite a complicated area. You have to manage, you have to plan, and please don't commit a mistake of taking rough data, rough input from them. Try to collect effective instrument that is responded by the participant. Now, why people respond poorly? Why the participant responds poorly? Low response rates are common, definitely, because if you have fixed your time for a study, research study, it's not necessary that other would be sitting free and they would just wait that you would go to them and you would give them instrument, they would give you data. No, this is not like that. If you are free, it doesn't mean everybody is free. Maybe some are busy, some are actually busy, some would pretend to be busy, and so on, because man-to-man differences are there, but low response rates are common nowadays. Now, difficulty interpreting the finding without the data representing the respondent view. Now, student, in this point, there some researchers definitely feel difficult to interpret the finding, because without representing the number of responses by the people, so it's quite definitely embarrassing that there is no response, and even you mentioned the response in the table. So be accurate, be realist, and take real data into account, and then decorate it, then table it, and extract and interpret, so that the error should be avoided to take holy solely, lump sum, and just average and just complete. Please avoid. Take original data, do original work, take original responses, take original interpretation, and extract exact result. Now, unclear, ambiguous items that depend upon your instrument, that how much clear your instrument is. If you have prepared a questionnaire in which there are some questions and that are ambiguous, definitely what would happen? Ambiguous data would be collected. So be clear, clarify your mind about the data collection, and collect exact data, no ambiguity in it. Clarify, clear, 1 + 1 2. This is the clear sum. So this type of data that give you exact understanding, that must be taken. Now, research need to develop recording form that collect the data objectively and reliably. Yes, objectively and reliably data is required, as I said earlier. So after the errors, classification of descriptive research. Classification is through that how data is collected, how you collect your data. Self-reports are prepared. Individual respond to statement or question about themselves. In self-report, the participant directly gave you data. Direct data is collected. In observation, what happened? Data is collected by the researcher watching participant. But to make it unbiased, do the steps that are necessary for the observation. Sometimes your participant know that you are observing them, so that they should be natural in all responses. After this, some ethics. Student, do you know what is ethic? Ethic in our circumstances here would be that the positive sense, the positive extreme sense that we have to adopt while doing descriptive research, the positivity that we have in our mind that while doing descriptive research. So what should be that positivity? Number one, you should include not only the characteristics which are common to the group, but also they are unique as well. Unique responses, unique points should also be catered for. As a researcher, is for you to plan how your finding can be used as mean to further studies end. Student, as a researcher, how you plan your finding and how your finding would be further processed. Use statistic procedure to assure you of a level of confidence that your results are trustworthy. Yes, exact data, exact information, exact figure, exact procedure, statistical procedure would give you a lot of trust that you are at the right direction. And data should not be manipulated. It should not be biased. It should not be affected by the external sources. Exact data, no friend, no foe, just in neutral phase, in neutral shape you have to carry out your research. And instrument use should be free from cultural bias. Like sometimes our culture stop us to ask questions, sometimes our customs come into our ways and so on. So you should avoid all these areas so that your ethics should be maintained, your positivity should be maintained while doing descriptive research. Importance of descriptive research. Student, for scientific basis of judgment, this descriptive research is quite necessary. Descriptive research actually provide information which could be used as basis for important decisions that are to be made. Even at country level, even on national level, your decision can be catered for. If government has to take a decision, definitely research and researcher would be contacted so that the government should read at a conclusion that what is actual fact. Research is what? Research is to know actual fact, to uncover the fact. So fact would be known if that is done by the researcher honestly. So be honest in descriptive research because your data could be catered for on any stage, even on national phase or even international. Some organization are planning some work. So they also catered. They also consult the research already done in this field. So your research is not baseless. Your descriptive research is very important. Do it heartedly, do it honestly so that it could provide real data to the searcher who want to take help from it in the future. Now for a closer look into happening, behavior, practice, method and procedure. Student, you are researchers. You have reached very close to the happening. You have read the behavior of the people. You have investigate the practices, methods, procedure, everything you have adapted to reach on a conclusion. So let the other take help from it. Now, for the formation of construction of test analysis of standardizations of tool instrument used in research are very important. Students, these are the area of importance of descriptive research. So this was all about today's class. Let me repeat that as each and every thing in the world, type of research have some advantages as well as some disadvantages. Descriptive research is to know the existing situation of the thing, so it's important. Advantage is that it give you real situation about an existing thing. but there are some definitely negative point in this research, that it's not concerned with the variables. So existence status is very good to be known, because it's quite sometime needed. If some agency, some government department want to take a decision, it would be quite helpful. So advantage as well as disadvantage go side by side. However, this was a good piece of knowledge to know about the descriptive research, because as a researcher, definitely very soon you have to confront, you have to you have to be involved in research, and this lecture would give you help in this regard. Thank you very much for being with me in the class.